couch. I am Hexclown, here to explore the world of the strange and unexplained, sharing fun content to inspire and entertain you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Let's get started.
Peppa Pig is actually some kind of demon and not an adorable cartoon pig. When you search Peppa Pig's house or Peppa Pig, you will see another Peppa Pig in the house. I know you all know that, but I'm just telling you, maybe you don't know or you know. So, here is the story of Peppa Pig. Peppa was never a healthy child. She was usually ill and spent her short life in a hospital bed. One night, Peppa's parents decided it would be best if they euthanized her. So that night, Peppa fell asleep and she was injected with a poison, thus killing her.
The truth about Papa Smurf. Hello, I'm a Smurf. And have you ever considered that Gargamel might not be the villain, but actually the hero? He was born in the 12th century into a poor family in Spain. His parents abandoned him at the monastery, and he grew up among priests. But eventually, all the men who lived with him passed away, leaving him alone and lost. Out of despair, he got a cat, which he named Azrael, meaning fallen angel. The Smurfs are based on the 7 deadly sins. Think about it. Greedy Smurf represents greed. Brainy Smurf represents envy and pride. Lazy Smurf represents sloth. Grouchy Smurf represents wrath. Sweets Smurf represents gluttony. And Smurfette represents lust. Not only do they embody the 7 deadly sins, but Papa Smurf is the only one who wears red, the devil's color, which is why he is considered the devil of the group. The Smurfs are actually trying to bring evil to humanity, and Gargamel is stopping them, protecting the world from them.
This SpongeBob origin story is so dark, it will change the way you look at SpongeBob forever. Pearl's father is actually the whale we see in the jailbreak episode in Season 9, but he's actually in there for killing his wife, also known as Pearl's mother. After he tried to escape the scene before getting arrested, Mr. Krabs stumbled across the crime scene and the carcass of the mother whale and baby Pearl left all by herself. But here's the disturbing part. When a whale dies, its dead body can fuel an entire ecosystem. And so Mr. Krabs, overcome with excitement and greed, sees this as an opportunity to make a shit ton of money and comes up with the idea of the Krusty Krab restaurant, adding pieces of Pearl's mother into the Krabby Patty formula as the secret ingredient. But here's where it gets real dark. Mr. Krabs only adopted Pearl as an alternative meat supply in case he runs out, and is trying to isolate her from her father and friends. Could this be the reason why he spoils her with so many gifts, so that she doesn't end up leaving? Throughout the program, Mr. Krabs always expresses how once his daughter is fully grown, she's going to go off to college, when in actuality what he means is, she's getting butchered, cooked, and served up to customers.
I died trying to put a TV in my stomach. My name is Tinky Winky. I was one of the Teletubbies before everything became sunny, happy, and full of light. Before that, there was only darkness and loneliness. The 4 of us were children, trapped in an institution called La La Land, where they performed psychological experiments on us. Each of us was locked alone in a dark room. Lala, the yellow Teletubby, was a girl with a permanent, twisted smile she could never change. Poe, the red Teletubby, was a girl scarred for life after falling into fire as a child. Dipsy, the green Teletubby, was a frail, sickly boy. And I, Tinky Winky, couldn't hear. Because of that, I was constantly abused, punished for a silence I couldn't help. We were forbidden from seeing each other. Our only comfort was a small TV in each room, our only window to another world. One day, they said they would take even that. Desperate, we made a plan. Hide the TVs inside our bodies. But they were too big. We tried to carve space in our stomachs. That attempt cost all of us our lives.
So there's this theory that the Rugrats kids were never actually real. Supposedly, Angelica made them all up to cope with trauma. Tommy was actually a stillbirth. That's why his dad's always down in the basement making toys for the child that he never had. Chucky supposedly died in a car accident. That's why his dad's always so nervous and shaky. Even Phil and Lil. Angelica couldn't understand their death, so she imagined twins because she didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. This turns the whole show into something so much darker. Comment Angelica if you've heard this theory growing up.
Listen, I do not want to ruin Lilo and Stitch for you guys because I know that this is y'all favorite movie and there's a new Lilo and Stitch coming out. But I want to make you aware that Stitch is a demon. We have to be careful of Disney because Disney always wants to turn demons into your pals, right? And our kids have to be conscientious of what they're actually watching because this is a demon. Let me show you. Similar to the not deer in the Appalachians, right? A cryptid is a deer-like creature that behaves unnaturally, right? And so a cryptid is basically a demon posing as a deer. Now, Stitch is trying to pose as a dog, right? Even though he kind of looks like a koala, but he's posing as a dog. But it can also talk, it can also shape shift, and it's basically a god of chaos. It was built for destruction. And let's face it, even though Stitch is a great character to write as far as a movie wise, but if you actually dissect what Stitch really is, it might shock you and it might scare you. Because if you think about it, right, water is the element of life, right? So why can't Stitch touch water or be in water? It's because it's a demon. The element that gives us life will unalive Stitch, and that should tell you something. And if you think about it, if Stitch would have crash landed in a city, do you know how many people Stitch would have unalived? It was fortunate that he landed in Hawaii, and it was fortunate that it was on a remote island that can contain him. But if Stitch would have gotten loose in a big city, he would have went on a rampage and killed thousands of people and destroyed millions of dollars worth of property damage. I also want to make note here that Disney is always trying to give our kids bad practices because this is a fallen star, right? Disney knows. She prayed to a fallen star and it brought her a demon. We have to understand that the Most High is not the God of this world. We should pray to the Most High and not the God's creations because it will bring demons.
Oh, Bob, you're a goof! What a ham!
You're crazy. Put her hand down.
Stuck! It's stuck!
This is Bob's Burgers. No, really, this incredibly unsettling short is what Loren Bouchard presented to Fox when he was pitching Bob's Burgers in 2010. The plan was for the Belchers to sell human meat to their unsuspecting customers, and they were going to get it all from the funeral home next to the family restaurant. Most shockingly, Bouchard decided he wasn't going to shy away from showing all the gory details. As evidenced by the animated short, Bouchard was looking to push boundaries with this edgy twist on a traditional sitcom. He wanted to stand out from the crowd and demonstrate to the Fox executives that what he had was worth investing in. That meant that excessive blood, mutilated body parts, and gags involving the deceased were all on the table.
Everything's on the table, including on the table.
The short begins with a nauseating close-up of the meat grinder, as Linda interrogates Bob over him forgetting their anniversary. What begins as a fairly standard disagreement for a married couple turns morbid when Linda starts to play with her food. Things escalate from there, and the short ends with Linda wearing a dead woman's ring, holding a pair of shoes that were plucked from cold feet, and chewing on a piece of gum Bob found in the barrel of bodies. Luckily, that queasy combination would pay off, just not in the way Bouchard expected. The loving family of adventurous carnivores definitely got the network's attention, but it wasn't appealing enough for widespread approval. In the now immortal words of Susanna Makos, Loren, do you want to do 100 episodes worth of cannibal jokes? And so, with one major note to contend with, he went to work building a brand new version of his budding TV show, one without so much blood and guts. Another demo was produced wherein Tina, the Belcher's teenage daughter, was actually a boy, still played expertly by Dan Mintz.
So you're the health inspector?
Yes.
What is that? Is that like a rash?
I'm not that kind of health inspector.
This version of the show was agreeable enough to finally get the green light at Fox. Though, surprisingly, both the demo and the eventual first episode actually bear a lot of similarities to the first spooky short. And if the idea of the Belchers being cannibals sounds familiar to you, that's because the show's pilot episode, Human Flesh, borrows a lot from Bouchard's original pitch. Episode 1, which aired on January 8th in 2011, is all about the family being accused of selling human meat. Their youngest daughter Louise starts a rumor at school that they get their meat from Mort's morgue, and Hugo, the health inspector, shows up to hang a comedically defamatory sign in their window. Of course, even though a bunch of foodies show up at the end to try the alleged human flesh,
We have kind of an adventurous eaters club. We like to try new things.
the Belchers aren't really serving up corpses in this version of the show. There's no way to know for sure how actual cannibalism would have changed the tone of Bob's Burgers, though fans might have a pretty good guess.
Thanks for watching our compilation of cartoon conspiracy theories. Remember, this is all for entertainment purposes only. Use your own mind and critical thinking. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.